Hey, are you guys looking out for 2029? Well, if you aren't, you should. Still confused, eh? Well, the closest known approach of the next asteroid, Apophis, will occur on April 13th, 2029. And guess what? This is going to be big. So 2029 is pretty far away, right? Why don't we travel a bit into the future and see what would happen if the largest asteroid ever collides with Earth? We told you this is going to be big, so let's get straight into it. Hey folks, welcome back, and you are watching Skies TL. What are you guys waiting for? Like, share, and subscribe. If you take the biggest asteroid that can be thrown towards Earth, you wouldn't even get a tiny piece to look at. So we don't want that, right? Let's take an asteroid which is somewhat big when compared to that of Earth. We need some chaos to discuss. So before starting with the effect of collision, let's take a look at a similar collision with which we are familiar. Well, mostly dino-enthusiasts. Dinosaur fans are aware that an asteroid struck Earth's Yucatan Peninsula 66 million years ago. Actually, this was a 15-kilometer-wide meteorite that struck land to form the 150-kilometer-wide Chicxulub crater, wiping out most dinosaurs, mammals, and marine and avian reptiles in the process. When looking at the impact, which are still apparent today, there was absolute destruction around the crash site. The crash was so massive that it rocked the whole planet, wreaking total devastation everywhere. A massive blast wave and heat wave threw immense amounts of material into the atmosphere, essentially obscuring the sun and setting off a chain reaction that led to ecosystem collapse. Wait, that was back then. What would happen presently if the same asteroid collided with the Earth now? The effect would be pretty the same. But what would be different will be our story. What happens to humans and our survival? To begin with, it's highly improbable, but that doesn't concern us. We need to know what happens if it strikes. Basically, a dangerous asteroid only strikes Earth only every 500,000 years. However, scientists are eager to devise hypothetical situations just in case. When displaying various outcomes based on 50,000 computer-simulated impacts at locations throughout the world, the largest threat to humanity was wind, regardless of the size or density of the asteroids they simulated. Wind indeed. According to the researchers, the majority of the damage and injuries caused by the Chelyabinsk bolide event that occurred over Russia in 2013, when an asteroid disintegrated in midair, were caused by the aerodynamic shock that knocked people to the ground and damaged structures and windows, causing indirect injuries from flying glass shards. So yeah, look out of bricks and glass. But guess what? Remember, this asteroid did not even strike the Earth. The larger the asteroid, the more probable it is to generate wind powerful enough to flatten entire villages or cities. Okay, let's keep that aside. Thermal radiation from an asteroid is another big hazard to life. In 1908, thermal radiation from the Tunguska event, another asteroid outburst before impact, devastated 2,000 kilometers of forest and set fire to 300 kilometers of trees in Siberia, also over Russia. Fortunately, because Siberia was isolated and little populated at the time, no human lives were lost. The researchers did point out, however, that the unleashed energy would very probably have been enough to inflict deaths in populous areas. Wait, as a second, what is the impact of asteroids on the moon? Anyway, that'll be another story for Skies TL. Have you been thinking about tsunamis? There has been much discussion about how many lives will be lost on Earth as a result of an asteroid causing tsunamis. Tsunamis are a hazard, but only if asteroids hit the water. Hence, they account for 20% of the total threat of striking asteroids. However, depending on the magnitude of the asteroid, tsunamis would be the most catastrophic impacts of an asteroid striking water, accounting for 70 to 80% of fatalities. This is a problem for coastal communities that may need to be evacuated. Of course, a huge asteroid striking the Earth would end life as we know it. You might have seen the Discovery Channel simulation of the catastrophic, Earth-destroying impact of Ceres colliding with our planet. How stuff works speculated in 2008 on what might happen if even smaller asteroids collided with Earth. They estimated that an object 200 feet in diameter would level reinforced concrete structure within a 5-mile radius of impact, implying that an asteroid the size of Paris might take out an entire metropolis. Why? Because a large asteroid may create up to 50 megatons of energy. Buildings within a 1-mile radius of impact would be destroyed by an asteroid the size of a home. The impacts of such a large enough asteroid wreaking destruction on Earth would not be noticed immediately. They would resonate over time. According to a NASA working committee, an asteroid bigger than 2 kilometers in size might degrade the global climate, resulting in widespread crop failure and loss of life. Dust and debris sent up by the impact would block out the sun. Smoke from wildfires would add to this obstruction, and the world would enter a so-called impact winter, causing crop failures and global hunger. So you'd have no food to rely on. So, due to such a collision, our world as we know it would come to an end. We now know that getting to the end of the Earth would need a half-mile wide asteroid. That would most likely be an asteroid the size of the one that wiped out the dinosaurs, leaving a crater 100 miles across, vaporizing life at the point of impact, causing tremors felt for thousands of miles, and causing the crop failures indicated above. Essentially, it is the end of most living things. Any asteroid larger than that would really slow the rotation of our home planet, but we wouldn't be around to see the results. So, finally, will there be such an asteroid? Well, this theme has been the focus of several recent films. It is important to realize that these are only movies and they may not always depict great or real science. However, there is sometimes a little germ of reality beneath a movie, although it can be difficult to identify what is true and what is fiction. This is true for movies about asteroids colliding with the Earth. Let us state right away that there is currently nothing on a collision trajectory with Earth. But as we spoke in the beginning, it was stated in the press last year that an asteroid was on a collision track with Earth and would strike in 2029. We now know that the estimations were incorrect, and the asteroid will entirely miss the Earth. So, you can chill out, and there aren't any other issues to worry about. But keep in mind that the Earth has been hit by asteroids before and will be again sometime. We don't know when, but we do know it won't be anytime soon. Our solar system is enormously large in comparison to the size of the Earth. Hence, the chances of the Earth being hit by another solar system object, such as an asteroid, are quite low. It happens every now and again, but that doesn't happen very frequently. Consider this: the asteroid belt contains the majority of the asteroids in our solar system. Still, we have successfully sent spacecraft such as Voyager 1 and 2, as well as others, across this belt. Why? The belt contains more empty space than asteroids. How many of you guys knew this? Drop it in. Asteroids capable of creating a worldwide catastrophe if they collide with Earth are exceedingly rare. They would most likely need to be a kilometer or more in diameter. On average, such bodies crash the Earth once every 100,000 years. Comets and other similar-sized objects crash much less regularly, possibly once per 500,000 years or so. Is that turning a bit boring? Why don't we look into a cooler topic? What can we do if we detect an object that will crash with the Earth? If astronomers discover such an object, they will have plenty of time to follow it, accurately determine its orbit, and develop a device to divert it off its present orbital route. There would be no sense of urgency or terror. It would be a project in which all nations of the globe would be able to participate. Because we will have discovered it long before it enters Earth's orbit, it will most likely just take a little push, maybe from chemical rockets we drop on the asteroid surface, to redirect it from a dangerous route. There are always solutions, see? Well, an asteroid hitting our moon will have different consequences. Why don't we look at it? Let's discuss that in the next episode of Skies TL. So coming to the end of this video, what do you think of such a collision? Moreover, what do you think of today's episode? Anyways, drop in your views about today's video in the comment section below. That's about it for today. Make sure to subscribe to our channel for more content just like this one. And while you are at it, turn on the post notifications so that you never miss out on any of our future uploads. Drop a like for the video if you loved today's video. Hope you enjoyed the video. We will meet again in the next one.